Hi everybody, hope you can see me above the speaker thing here. I'm from University of Galway and I'm the micro-credentials project lead there, developing short courses for upskilling and reskilling in the workforce. So I have this lovely photograph here taken by my husband of Con Mór. And Con Mór was a giant that was built and sculptured by Machnus last year. I don't know if any of you saw it in person, but it was very impressive. But when you come to university, there's a saying about standing on the shoulders of giants. And what it means really is that when you come to a university, you will study information that has come from long delivered research and lots of other people who had delivered training over the years and developed lots of research and information for study. So I just thought Con Mór is a very good representation for this. And when you do come to university, hopefully you will get the bug for learning and that you will also stand on the shoulders of these giants in terms of adding to the learning and academia through your own study. So the 7 universities, how will you find out about where these are is the question, I suppose. And we're developing this online national portal, which will be like a centralised web page where we will have all the universities, the 7 universities, all the micro-credentials that are available across the country on the one web portal. So you'll be able to go into one place and find a variety of different topics and offerings across the country. So that portal will be up and running in May of this year, so you'll be able to search it from then. But in the meantime, we'd like you to come to the University of Galway, obviously, for your micro-credentials. So you can go onto our webpage. At our stand, we have a QR code where you can scan and be brought directly to the webpage, and that will outline all the microcreds offerings that we have at the university so far. So the idea of these microcreds is that, we'll tell you what they are here. They're a record of learning outcomes that a learner has acquired following a small volume of learning. So they're short courses, they're 8 to 12 weeks long. And the idea is that you will be able to take them online. Some of the courses you do need to come on campus for maybe a workshop, but usually these courses are delivered flexibly so that you can still do your job, or if you have care responsibilities or you're a parent, you can still take these courses within your own time. So they're all developed with flexibility and adult learners in mind. So I've spoke to that already. So they're owned by the learner. So this is all kind of a new process for the universities. We're all joining up so that if you do a course in any of the universities, you'll be able to add it to your Europass site so that you'll have all your learning in the one place. And then if you want to travel or go somewhere abroad, all your micro-credentials and your different courses that you've taken will be in the one place. So that's what we mean by a kind of a learner rucksack. So these micro-credentials will be recognisable across Europe because they've been developed to a particular standard. So these micro-credentials can be standalone or they can be joined together. We're developing stackable pathways. In other words, that you can join these microcreds together to make a larger reward. So we're developing that process at the moment. Once we have enough micro-credentials developed, we'll be able to know then how they connect together. But you can also use them for recognition of prior learning, or RPL, if you want to take a bigger course and it has that module in it that you've already completed, then you'll be able to take that forward when you want to use that to study a bigger course. So all the courses, sometimes if you take a course online, you're not 100% sure how it's quality assured, or is it something that will be recognised by workplaces or businesses if you wanted to get another job. But all of these micro-credentials are quality assured within the university process, the same way as if you took a degree, a diploma, or a master's in our university. So we want to make sure that that quality standard is across all our offerings. So that you get a chance to do a quality learning experience. So why should you study a microcred instead of maybe doing something just on some other platform available online? So the first thing, I suppose, is that they're bite-sized. They're small, they're flexible, and they're delivered and designed with adult learners in mind. So I spoke to a lot of lovely people today, and some maybe mightn't have completed their Leaving Cert or might never have gone to third level. And that does not preclude you from taking a micro-credential. So on the website, it will say if there's a prerequisite for the course. So, if you're required to have studied in a certain area, or what the level of the course will be. So quite a lot of them, we're trying to set them up so that there aren't many prerequisites, so that you will just be able to jump on board and take the course from scratch. Okay, so a lot of my job is linking up with enterprise and industry, and part of our project, we have a national steering group that's very connected with industry. So what I do is I look across the skills needs that the different industries have, and we then try and go back inside and find academics that might be willing to come on board developing courses to meet those skills gaps. So most of our courses will be very connected with what the latest needs are in the workforce, and we only delivered our first round of them in September of this year, so we will be building on that from March of next year. And we're open to companies and enterprise to come to us and say, look, we have a learning need in this particular area. Are there any other companies that might be interested? And then we might develop a microcred. So you will find that all our micro-credentials are developed with industry and enterprise in mind, so that you will be able to work afterwards, so they're not just study for study's sake. Although we do have some interesting ones that are just for interest's sake as well. So if you take a course with us, you will have academic support. So every one of our micro-credentials has an academic lead. So that means there's a professor or there's a doctor who has studied this field and is an expert in their area. So in order to deliver a micro-credential, we have to have that standard. So you will get access to the best minds in the university if you do take a course with us. You also get the status as like any other student. So you will have access to our vast library. And there's also, and I was talking to some interesting people earlier on, there's also help for academic writing. If you haven't written academic papers or been involved in university learning, there's lots of support available within the university. And even if you're just taking one of these short courses, you're not looked on as any less of a person than any full-time student. So we're delighted to have part-time learners on board as well. So this is my little steps here. So what I was saying to people is, if you wanted to just dip your toe into a subject and you wanted to see maybe is programming in Python something that you might want to do as a career, sometimes taking a micro-credential will give you a little bit of a kickstart into a topic, and then you can decide from there if you want to go on and do the larger course or larger program. Because, we do find that, young people coming straight out of school, which of us knew what we wanted to do with our lives at that point, at 17, 18? Sometimes by the time you're 23, 24, you have more of an idea of what you might want to do, and you then might want to dip your toe in some other fields before you fully decide. So micro-credentials are great for that purpose as well. So we've kind of grouped our micro-credentials roughly into these sort of package areas. So we have a science, sustainability and green agenda focus. So as you know, there's so much talk about climate change, climate action, sustainability. So we're trying to have as many of our initial micro-credentials in that space. So we have one, environmental management for organisations. We have energy management, which is, really topical at the moment for so many businesses struggling in the current crisis. We have this one that's coming on board in September, which I think is going to be really important. It's the Green Labs Principles and Practice, and that's a course for helping companies develop their labs into green labs and ensuring, and it's amazing how many companies have labs that I never even knew existed. We had a meeting with the construction sector there last week, and they were saying, yeah, we have a lab that we test water, we test waste, we test all sorts of things, and that was of huge interest to them. So it's a really good one to have in stream if you're going looking for other jobs as well. So apiculture, this is the one that was really popular. It's amazing how many Irish people have taken up minding bees. So this course is a science course. Now it is a level 9 course, so it is very science-based, but we do have a good cohort of learners on it, and they're managing it very well. And a lot of them would never have done a university course before. So this course is a science-based course about the viruses and pathogens that affect honeybees in Ireland. So it's a really interesting course. So I'm learning loads myself with all these different topics. As people are asking me questions on them, I have to know a little bit about them. So we have this one on human anatomy and physiology, which initially was developed with medical devices in mind, the companies that have medical devices development, but quite a lot of different jobs would need a basic introductory course in human anatomy and physiology, and that spans a whole range of different career bases. Regulatory compliance, again, that's in relation to pharmaceuticals and medical devices, but we're extending it out so that it applies to more industry partners. So then we have a list of computer science, digitisation and artificial intelligence microcreds. The digitisation of the Irish workforce is a huge thing at the moment, and I suppose having a basic level of digital competence has become hugely important for many different jobs. And we have this course which is very much from basic level upwards in terms of developing your digital competence skills, and the lecturer in that is excellent as well. So she takes you through exactly step by step everything you need to know in order to be digitally competent, which is really, really useful. So we have these two fundamentals of programming, and again, this might be a good course, if you want to dip your toe into this whole area, fundamentals of databases. And then we have a range of artificial intelligence courses coming on stream as well. And again, this is a huge area that's coming on stream for many different workplaces, just to have a basic knowledge about what is artificial intelligence and how do I need to factor it into my workplace. So programming in Python has been very popular today. I've had so many discussions with people about that, and I'm delighted to promote it because Dr. Patrick Mannion has been very on board with the micro-credentials development, and he's a firm believer and passionate about programming, and he would really be a fantastic advocate for anybody that wanted to dip their toe into programming in Python. And we have a podcast on our web page that I sort of talked to Patrick about what that course covers and how Python can be used in many different aspects of life, which I never even realised until I spoke to him. We have this one as well, which was very popular as well across multiple different industries and enterprises, data analysis and visualization. And it's, again, you don't need specific skills, you just need to have a computer and be able to use it and be able to access the information. It's another very, very popular one and is used across healthcare, across all sorts of industries. So we have some new legal and enterprise and company startup microcreds as well. So we have these two, the law and innovation and law and analytics. And if you're in the legal profession, this law and innovation one might appeal to you because it's about developing technical app solutions for the legal workplace. Okay, so that's kind of what that one's about. And law and analytics, again, it's a technology-based one to help lawyers in developing their analytical skills using technology. We have this one then, which is also about artificial intelligence, and there's lots of debates about the benefits and the difficulties, I suppose, and challenges with AI. So this course covers what are the ethics around the use of AI and what is the law around it as well. So it's a really good topical course. We have this one, which is a brand new one coming on stream in September. It's an executive ed course, so it's for managers, and it's all about the whole sustainability focus and ESG reporting and all of that. It's a huge responsibility now for executive managers to be able to say that their company is ESG compliant and that is, has sustainability in mind at all elements of its operations. So that one's coming on stream in September as well. This online training design one then is very much about, again, you can come in with no experience of developing an online training course, but I've been talking to a lot of food industry companies, so where they are onboarding new staff, maybe they have to do the same repetitive task over and over again. So we've been talking to them about helping them develop an online learning experience so that they can then use it every time they want to retrain a new staff member. So this course, the academic responsible for this one, Danielle, she says that you just come in with no prior knowledge of how to design a course, and that you will design a course and have it at the end to take away with you. So if that's something of interest to you, that's another one we have going. We've had a lot of discussions with people about language courses, and we will have some Irish language courses, but I just don't have them up on the website just yet. So it'll be probably end of March. So do keep an eye on the webpage, because I'll be adding more. Roisin, my fantastic marketing person, will be adding them. So thanks for all your work you did on the programme for today, Roisin. German for Business. This is for people who already have a baseline in German, but want to develop the language for business. But the academic here also focuses on the cultural elements of working with companies in Germany as well. So it's of a lot of interest. I actually was blown away by the amount of companies in Ireland that have German company connections. So it's a really popular one too. Finance for non-financial managers. This is another one for enterprises, say, where they have a lot of small enterprises. I am seeing cross-consultation with them outsource their finances to other financial specialists. And sometimes they don't always understand then the decision-making they're doing in relation to their finances. So that course is for them to try and upskill them on the basics of financial management, so that they are able to develop their business, even if they still outsource their financial piece to an accountant. Founder selling, again, this was a big skill need in the West, actually, among small to medium enterprises, in terms of how do they get their product to market, and how do I sell, how do I go about all of that. So that's a microcredit as well. Product development and validation, that's again about developing new products. Now we have this one, which is a kind of a new one on stream, and we will be putting some information up on. It should really appeal to anybody that was interested in, I suppose, personal development or developing their career. So it's all about design thinking and how do I, assess my best skills so that I can, develop a career for myself and developing my life in general. So that's a kind of a personal development course, and I'm absolutely delighted to be able to offer that in September. So these are some of the other ones. That one at the top is very exciting as well. It's being run by the psychology department, and anybody that's artsy or in any shape or form. There will be a cognitive science element to it, and then there will be an expression of that cognitive science into art, and hopefully we'll have an exhibition at the end of it. So I'm really excited about that one because it's very different to anything we've delivered before. We also are developing one on genomics, which again is a huge area. Quantum programming, which is a very specialist area. We are looking at the construction sector, and we're linking up with construction sites to the construction companies, I suppose, in the Galway region, to see what their learning needs are. So we have a few microcreds on that by the end of March as well. We're doing psychology of consumer behaviour, and we're looking at humanities and medicine microcreds as well at the moment. Okay, so what's next? So that's just a cross-section. We have about 32, so not all of them are here, so we will have them on the website. So in order to apply for a microcred, if you go onto the web page, and if you take one of our cards, it has a little QR code on it, and if you just scan that, it'll bring you directly to the web page. So you'll go to the colleges and schools, and you'll find the Centre for Adult Learning and Professional Development. So that's where we're housed in terms of these microcreds. And then there's a little instruction video on how to apply for a microcred. So if anybody here has a business and wants to fund some of their staff to attend a microcred, you can register with Next Level SkillNet, and there's a 30% reduction to the fee through that process. So that's of real great interest to particularly small to medium businesses. But if you also want to ask your company if they'll fund you for things, they can also register with Next Level SkillNet in order to get assistance for that. So as I've said already, we have this podcast series. I think I've about 8 now so far. We're going to try and have a podcast for each of the microcreds so that you get a real sense of what's the course about before you take it. Because obviously we don't want people taking courses that isn't what they need. So the podcast should help you get a sense of what the course is about before you come on board. So again, I'm trying to grab hold of academics to interview for those. So we have about 8 so far. So that's me done, and if you have any questions and you want to come to me afterwards, I'd be absolutely delighted to talk to you. There's our contact details. We have the microcreds at universityofgalway.ie, and do look out for the national portal where you'll be able to see all the courses from the 7 universities, because we are working together. You know, even though we have a healthy competition with each other, we're also working together to try and make sure that you have the best possible opportunities for upskilling into the future. So that's me.
Thank you so much, Janice. Have we got any questions from the audience? If you just raise your hand, I'll come over. No? I'd be particularly interested in the beekeeping one. I saw a lady on TikTok. She was basically roaming the streets and saving the bees, so it seems like an interesting one. When it comes to the length of the courses, would they be very long? I know you said micro-credentials, but what are we looking at time-wise?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. They're 8 to 12 weeks, so very few of them would go past 12 weeks, but that's not 8 to 12 weeks of full-time study. You might be expected to do about 10 to 15 hours a week on some, or others you might only have to do 2 or 3. So you might have to attend a lecture online for maybe an hour and a half. If you can't make it, a lot of the times the academic will record it so that you have access to it afterwards. And then you'll be expected to do some project work. So there's no exams at the end, which I think is just fantastic. How you get your ECT credits is by continuous assessment. So some of that assessment might be taking part in conversations with other people on the course, so like learning blogs. So somebody might post something up and then you have to make some intelligent comments on it, or you might have to do a little bit of research and contribute to it that way. So it's very much geared towards, I suppose, coming back to the learning experience where you mightn't have been there for a long time.
And to register then all online?
Yeah, most of them are registering online, yeah.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you so much, Janice. Janice Mulvany Glennon from the University of Galway.
And thank you very much for listening.